Good morning and welcome to episode 1747 of Hard Factor. It is Wednesday, July 9th, 2025. Thank you for cheating on the news with us. 80-ish% accuracy guaranteed on this podcast. Patreon.com/Hard Factor if you need more Hard Factor. Today, Pat's up first. Pat, what do you got?
Bro, I got huge news. Huge TSA news and throwback TSA news to perhaps the greatest story of all time.
Ronaldo Negron?
Yeah, we're talking Ronaldo.
On the original Who Do You Know Here podcast back in 2010.
Oh, yeah. That was a hot topic. That podcast was not
safe
it wouldn't
for work.
Yeah, not safe for work. Wouldn't pass.
But what would you pay to hear an episode of
test
podcast with these boys plus PFT and our friend Colin? What would you pay? You can let us know.
What would you?
And
let us
absolutely no filter. And
I don't
no
think
rules.
PFT would allow that.
No.
Oh, wow. A lot of people calling him Eric now.
He's got a lot to lose, that PFT.
A lot to lose. And a lot for us to gain.
Yeah. Let's just blackmail him. How about that?
What would it cost for us to put that out there, huh?
What will you pay us not to put it out there is the better question.
Let us know. We've got a treasure trove of
what do you remember of it? What do you remember of it?
Bad time
can
to
get up.
blackmail Eric after he just, hosted us and bought a bunch of food, and we should have brought this up a month ago.
We'll give it a couple of months.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, I can run it past him. I think they're going to Tahoe this week. I think I might see him again.
Nice.
There you go.
Nice.
We'll see. And then,
Pat just ordered a pizza to his house. We were at his house so much.
Let us know exactly. Let us know, how much you would want to pay to join. Just join patreon.com/Hard Factor if you want that to happen. And let us know in there, what you're willing to give to hear that.
I think I only found one of them. We can't even really. There's only one of the 10 that I was able to recover.
10?
Yeah,
We only did 10?
No, we did a ton. We did some with Kelly too. Kelly replaced Colin when he moved.
Lot.
We finally had a girl voice.
The Desert Island episode, that's
the best one. I think PFT is the only guy that brought a guy. He brought Adam who was it? Corolla. Wes brought
funny dude.
Wes won. You got an item, a person, and like something else. And Wes brought Seal's Greatest Hits and Heidi Klum to fuck her to kind of torture a fucker.
Yeah. Sick choices, yeah.
But you won.
Sadistic win, yeah. No, it was a good win. And we got Mark on deck. Mark, what do you got?
Food poisoning. Lots of it. Ever heard of it? Ever had it?
Yeah.
You're going to have it today.
Montezuma's
twice last year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Santiago. Wes.
Adam Carolla in a grill. We're just going to grill and have a good time.
Yeah, he's funny.
Oh, we all brought supermodels. All right, anyways.
I got a disturbing trend that may not even be real in baby names. So, slow news day. Say that.
Okay. Boy, turns out that choking trend was real, though. Man.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
That
Did we hear about that?
Going.
Real.
In the comments and the Discord. Wow. That was the choking thing. Didn't know it was such a thing. Now it is. And then I've got a lightning round of American stuff. Kind of like we're still close to the 4th of July. So, there's a lot of bad news, but then there's some cool shit too. So I'm going to try to lightning round the cool shit for you.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, my pussy be yanking, so let's just jump right into it.
Let's do it.
Yanking.
The day was December 22nd. The year was 2001. The flight, 63, Paris to Miami. Okay? Mm-hmm. When passengers started complaining of the smell of smoke in the cabin shortly after the meal service. And one flight attendant came over to where the smoke seemed to be emanating from, thinking she smelled a burnt match. She was walking up and down the aisles trying to smell the source, find exactly where it was coming from. And that's when she found this guy. Who remembers this asshole?
The shoe bomber?
Richard Reed, the shoe bomber.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Sitting alone near a window, attempting to light a match.
Look at the schnoz on that terrorist.
He was a real terrorist, radicalized in prison, British born. Anyway, the flight attendant said, "Sir, there's no smoking on this flight." Okay.
Sir, you can't explode your shoe on this flight, sir.
And that's when Reed said, "Oh, I wasn't planning on smoking." He said, I'll stop. Okay, I promise. I'll stop. And he did. A few minutes later, he found Reed leaned over in his seat, and she asked him what he was doing. And he grabbed her, revealing that one of his shoes, which was in his lap now, he'd kicked his shoes off, which smelled probably worse than the match by the looks of this guy.
Yeah.
And she saw a fuse leading into the shoe, and then he lit a match, okay? And that's when everyone freaked out, because remember, this is 3 months after September 11th. And Richard Reed, he partially blew up his Aspens.
So he stuffed a bunch of
What a loser. That's all
M80s into his shoes, and then
It
thought that was going to explode the plane. Okay.
But it only blew up his soul. I've heard of LA Lights, but this is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. No, it wasn't.
Back up! I've got one cherry bomb stuffed in my shoe.
No, it wasn't M80s. It was like C4.
Ow, my foot! Ow, my foot!
Dude,
Ow,
C4 would have blown his fucking foot off.
100% would have blown his foot off, but he didn't give a shit. It was a suicide bombing situation.
But how did it only explode the one shoe?
Maybe it didn't even explode. Maybe that's just.
I think it never exploded.
Yeah, that's just them getting it out.
They ripped it out.
Yeah.
Okay, could be. Who knows?
Just give me 13 minutes to burn through this rubber sole.
The guy's 6'4". He's a big guy. 6'4", 215. Bunch of cats. Obviously, this is right 2 or 3 months after September 11th. Bunch of guys stood up and they dogpiled on him, and they subdued him, and they tied him up with headphone cords and waist belts. And I guess they administered a tranquilizer to him, which they found in the emergency medical kit. That's bright thinking, to be like, is there a tranquilizer on board we can give to this guy? Can we shoot this guy up with a tranquilizer? There was a doctor on board who did that. Anyway, they landed at Boston International Airport. And guys, did not detonate. Wouldn't you know it, I guess it was because of his foot perspiration made the fuse too damp to ignite.
Dude, those things.
Sweaty terrorist.
Sweaty ass feet.
Is that what happened to his nose? Or they beat some America into him?
Oh, he definitely got beaten
Look
after
at that
that.
flat nose.
This is like prime beating terrorists before arraignment time.
Yeah, that was the good times.
Anyway, Richard Reed has
days.
been serving out his 110 years for the last 25 years, roughly, in ADAX, Florence, the most secure prison in the United States, a federal supermax. We only have one of them. And in ADAX, there's what's called Bombers Row. That's where Ted Kaczynski lived. That's where the Boston Bombers
This guy has
lived.
to live with real bombers.
Yeah, they got to make fun of him so bad.
Well, for the last 25 years, he at least
When I
had
followed
an
your
impact.
escape plans, you loser.
He at least had an impact for the last 25 years, but not no mo.
True.
Now he's gonna live out the rest of his life with zero impact, because guys, the TSA announced that effective immediately, according to Kristi Noem, the Secretary of Homeland Security, TSA will no longer require travelers to remove their shoes when they go through our security checkpoints.
Good.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't have to do that last time I fly. They were like, keep them on, keep them on.
It was
the
very
scanner
confusing,
would-
Wes.
The scanner would catch something in your shoe, right?
Well, it's funny you say that. So they said the reason, okay, that they don't have to have shoes taken off and run through the X-ray machine any longer is because of the use of the advanced hands-up body scanners, okay,
Yeah.
and improvements to its processes.
So we've been keeping the shoes on for like 3 fucking years. When we didn't
15
need to?
years. 15 years, Willie. That's when the hands-up body scanners
They never
came out.
tested shoes.
They never tested shoes. A lot of people are saying,
Yeah, but
if
I
you
like
did-
when the girls take their shoes off. I like to see their feet. You know,
Choking little toes.
That's right.
I like to
Have
see all
you-
the girls' feet.
I mean, dude,
Let's see what everybody's working with.
it's been many times I've taken my shoes off and had like a big fucking hole in my sock, or like
Yeah.
since I've gotten fat, I've tried to fly with cowboy boots on, trying to take those things off without a place to
brutal.
sit down.
You look like a toddler.
Brutal.
You put a bomb in that bra. Better lose that bra.
You better lose it, honey.
You could fit something down there.
If you were TSA Pre, you did not need to take your shoes off. A lot of people are saying, what the fuck did I even pay for TSA Pre for? Well, take it easy, Jack, okay? Take it easy. You still get the expedited line that you can go in. But now no one has to take their shoes off. Great. Not great for foot fetish guys. great for everyone else. And Will, to your point, 15 years we've had this technology. And how do I know that, guys? Let's take it back to an article from ABC News. And the year was 2010.
Oh, yeah.
And I quote, "Perhaps the new airport body scanners are a bit too revealing. A TSA worker in Miami was arrested for aggravated battery after police say he attacked a colleague who made fun of his small genitalia after he walked through one of the new high-tech security scanners during a recent training session. I'm, of course, guys, talking about 44-year-old Rolando Negrin." There's
Yes.
Rolando 15 years ago. Who was busted for assault after things got ugly at Miami International Airport between Negrin and some of his fellow TSA workers on Tuesday. Sources say Negrin stepped inside the machine during the training session and became embarrassed and angry when a supervisor started cracking jokes about his manhood, made visible by the new machine. According to a police report, Negrin confronted one of his coworkers in an employee parking lot where he hit him with a police baton on the arm and in the back. Negrin then told the victim to, quote, "kneel down and say you're sorry." The victim stated he was in fear, and he complied with Negrin, getting on his knees and apologizing. The next day, Negrin was arrested as he arrived to work, and he told police he'd been made fun of by coworkers on a daily basis. Negrin said, quote, "he could not take the jokes anymore, and he lost his mind."
Yeah, that'll
Yeah.
make you lose your mind.
They clearly, the supervisor hand selected him to test in front of everyone.
I mean, Negrin could win a lawsuit technically if he wasn't, if he didn't volunteer to
If
go
he,
through that.
no,
scanner.
no. If he hadn't baton attacked, he would have been set for life. But
Even with the
That-
baton
that-
attack,
that's
if he
why
didn't
we-
volunteer.
That's why we call it pulling a Rolando Negrin, which
Yes.
or some people say a Barbara Streisand, where Barbara Streisand tried to get the pictures of her house erased from the internet, thereby telling everyone on the internet where her house was.
Right.
If Rolando Negrin hadn't assaulted his boss, only the TSA workers would know that he had a small penis. But this was a
Now
global
the world
story.
knows. Yeah, and he was arrested for having a small penis.
Is he
in the
still
end,
alive?
Which is the funny part.
I mean,
What's
he
he
was
up to?
44, so he's 59.
Can we get him on the show?
I'm sure he wants
Yeah.
to talk about it. I'm sure he
Well,
wants to rehash.
have you looked him up? See what he's up to.
Yeah. Where is Rolando
let's-
Negrin now?
Let's
definitely
find his
out of the
hobbies.
blink.
Let's find his hobbies and do a ruse that we want to talk about that, not the TSA thing. You know?
Yep, Rolando's still with us as of 2022.
Oh yeah.
You know, poor guy.
As you can see here, the full body is shown.
Poor Rolando.
Let's see everything, right, Rolando?
Doesn't it doesn't always add a button. That's just Rolando.
Poor guy. Yeah, he's down there in Miami. Anyway.
He didn't move.
No, but I mean,
well, he hasn't flown since. Are you kidding?
Still in the same house.
I got to tell you, going back and reading this article was not only nostalgic and fantastic, but it also shed a little bit of light on how hilarious articles were in 2010. Again, this is from ABC News, and it wraps up by saying, "But if this latest incident is any indication, the scanners sound like good news for anti-terrorism and bad news for less than average men."
Ooh, yeah. Well, what they didn't know at ABC at the time is that they weren't going to show your actual X-ray on the screen in the airport. They were just going to show a red or green light.
Right, but no, there was someone in the back that got to see your penis, right?
Right,
That
and
was
that's what
deal.
the entire staff was
Yeah.
looking at, was that view. Of
Someone
Rolando.
saw your penis.
Yes.
Somebody
Someone
saw
sees
your
your
penis
penis, yeah.
at one point, but now it might even be an AI that looks at your penis.
Maybe.
I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah, whatever.
Anyway, no more shoes at the airport.
Cool.
That's awesome. That's
Good.
great news. Fantastic news.
Hey, do you guys like food?
Yeah.
Of course.
Do you guys like poison?
No.
Mm.
The band Poison? Yes.
No, the poison.
The song by Belle Biv DeVoe? Yeah, love it.
No,
Also a good one. Yeah.
the substance. Yeah, those two don't mix. Well, they do, but with bad results. Like, for example, in an update to a story we did a couple of years ago, do you remember this crazy Australian woman, Erin Patterson? Look at that
Yes.
photo.
Oh yeah.
She invited
How
her
could you
in.
forget?
Yeah, she invited her in-laws over for lunch a few years ago and then served them individual portions of homemade beef Wellington with a paste of finely chopped mushrooms she foraged from her own woods, killing 3 of her husband's relatives and her husband wisely didn't show up to the lunch. Remember that?
Yeah.
It was an accident, or it was on purpose.
No, she used death
No.
cap mushrooms, bro.
Yeah. She served death cap mushrooms, one of the most poisonous fungi on the planet, to 4 guests, killing both in-laws, Don and Gail Patterson, and Gail's sister, Heather Wilkinson. Heather's husband somehow survived. But that's what's going on there. There's the husband.
Declined lunch invitation.
Good call by the husband. Declined lunch.
It's a great graphic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wasn't hungry.
It's a graphic that essentially says alive and dead.
Yep.
With photos.
Declined. Well, Erin was convicted of murder this week. She's facing life in prison and is awaiting sentencing for her guilty verdict. The main evidence of how it was intentional came out and came down to a few things, like Erin lying to investigators about foraging for mushrooms, which she denied at first, saying that they were store-bought or something like that. Then lying about owning a food dehydrator to mince them and stuff and disguise them. And then lying about becoming ill herself, which she, of course, did not. No death cap mushrooms on her plate, which was most definitely a different plate, identifiable. No, not that plate. That's mine. This one's yours. This one's
Why
yours.
is yours on a
Heather.
square plate and all of us have a round one?
Exactly. Erin and her husband were estranged, which is why he declined. And it was strange that she invited all of his relatives over to lunch to begin with, which is why he was like, no, don't go. No, thanks. And I hope he warned them not to go and mentioned that he wasn't going, but we might never know that.
He probably would.
Free meal's a free meal.
Right.
Now, I mean, your parents are going to hit you up and be like, why am I going to your ex's house? And then you're like, you probably shouldn't go.
Well, there was
No.
a reason. There's a
You
reason.
know how much I love beef Wellington. If you're searching my favorite dish,
It is beef Wellington. That's the thing.
that's
Now,
a
will there be
fancy
mushrooms
dish.
in the beef Wellington?
Yeah,
I
so
would hope
usually-
so.
Yes.
usually is.
Normally,
Yeah.
I would hope so, right? Then I'm there.
Part of the coating of the beef inside of the delicious, crust.
You'd expect it, right? There were financial issues and children involved. There was a shared custody and alimony disputes galore. So she was probably really hoping her husband did show up so she could get 2 generations of inheritance, right? Kills his parents, which the money would trickle down to him. Kills him, which the money trickles down to her. So she gets two sweet generations.
She's
there.
such a moron.
One fell
though.
swoop.
They, like you said, they found the dehydrator with
everything.
the mushrooms on it, and her Google history showed her looking for death cap mushrooms. So
It gets worse mainly because someone survived, and you'll hear some of the things that they were able to point out. But yeah, she was probably hoping to live peacefully in the woods with her children next to a mason jar of death caps for anyone that tried to, get in their way. But in order to lure her husband and his relatives, she did have a plan. She said, hey, this is very sensitive, maybe via email. I have a medical issue, and I want to discuss it with you all before I bring it to the children, if I even do, right? This is important.
That's how she got him.
Yeah. So they're like, okay, fine. And they were getting a medical issue real time, listening to her fake medical issue. She said she had cancer. And then they got 3 days of liver organ failure. Most of them died painfully in the hospital. At trial, after it was brought up that her medical records were clean and she never had cancer, Erin admitted, I didn't have a legitimate medical reason. I was just too embarrassed to tell my guests that I was considering weight loss surgery. That's why I really brought them there.
Oh, okay.
do you think you'd trip? Would you because every psychedelic is a poison technically, but I guess maybe just other poisons probably don't have psychoactive properties, or maybe they do. You just don't
Maybe
know
briefly.
Painful trip.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It would fuck
Still
you up.
dying.
It might be so painful that you trip. But anyways, that's not what she told them, according to the lone survivor, Ian Wilkinson, who said, no, she said she had cancer. And he also said that his wife, Heather, pointed out that indeed Erin's plate was not only a different color than theirs, but a completely different size when they were headed to the hospital the next day in crippling pain. So his wife sniffed it out.
So everybody knew as they were dying, like, you fucking poisoned us. Yeah.
Yep. Ian spent well over a month in the hospital, miraculously living. There was an emergency liver transplant that didn't take for one of the three. And all four could have been saved by an antidote, but doctors did not know it was death cap mushrooms in time to make the antidote useful because Erin didn't mention she forged the mushrooms, specifically death cap mushrooms, on purpose to kill them.
Well, why would
So
you
she
tell
could
him
have
that?
saved him.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Why would she
Yeah,
save
no
him?
wonder. Conviction.
She was thinking she would have waited till the last minute and be like, I picked these from the woods. Could that be it?
Surely they won't do an autopsy on 3 miraculous murders that happened right after my lunch.
Or check my Google history or
Right.
search my house. I mean,
Right.
give me a fucking. I mean, she was the worst criminal ever.
Well, I live on Death Cap Lane, but they won't put 2 and 2 together. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, she was hot. She was hot about it.
she's going to jail. She's a monster. They don't do the death
Good.
penalty, so life in prison
Good.
for her.
Ugly woman too. Jeez.
Oh yeah, she looks like her insides and the outsides. Ugly all around. All right, food poisoning. You guys want one more?
Yeah.
It's-
Poison.
Sure.
All right, 233 children from Pixian Kindergarten in China were hospitalized after eating food with decorations on it served and prepared by kitchen staff.
Like plastic.
Okay, any questions?
Is it
They're
the corn thing that got him?
What
Any
is that?
questions?
Is that the food?
Yeah, there's like
That you're
sausage
showing
and
us?
Yeah, that's the food.
But that's like fake corn.
Yeah, well, the decoration was paint, lead paint.
Oh my god.
Yeah. 8 school employees have now been arrested as there were instructions from the principal to buy edible paint to make the food look cooler, but the paint purchased had over 2,000 times the legal limit for lead and was clearly labeled inedible.
You gotta check that out. Come on.
Sherwin Williams.
Yeah, Sherwin-Williams, 1943.
What kind of a dumbass project is that? That's
Yeah,
insane.
this paint here is vintage. Perfect for food.
Food's looking a little bland.
This
Let's
right here,
paint
it's pre-76.
Yeah. The principal of
They
the
were
privately.
serving, like,
What's
yeah,
up? Bob?
like the food was going bad, and then they were like, "We need to paint this with edible paint to make it look good."
It wasn't going bad. I think it was just gray, like they wanted to put it online. It's a privately run kindergarten, so they were trying to like look cool, probably for the pamphlets and stuff.
Yeah, like if I've done a couple like restaurant commercials, and when you're doing the food, they paint the food,
Yeah.
but no one eats it. It's very
Yeah,
like
but did they
important.
feed it to the kids? I'm so confused.
No,
Like, what-
that part they don't do
Well,
that part well.
The principal said get edible paint, but he's fired or she's fired now of the privately run kindergarten. They're one of the 8 gone. None of the kids died, but several parents stated that their children have been complaining of stomach and leg pains and a lack of appetite since March. It's still being investigated just how long the paint was being added to food, like the red date cake and the corn sausage rolls. So there's sausage inside those corn sausage rolls. They were just serving them lead for months.
Jeez, that's gonna be lasting
fucked up.
issues.
Yeah. When the kids started to get sick and hospitalized, someone at the school finally read the container, realized they were poisoning the kids, and hid the paint containers that were eventually found. Not hid them enough, because they were eventually found during a search where they shouldn't have been hidden.
This will
Good.
go away. The feeding of lead to the kids. For
Destroy the evidence if you're going to hide them. I mean, if you're not going to fess up to it, get rid of the containers. But anyways, the parents said at first, we just thought it was they went a little too far on the heavy on the MSG. You know what I mean? Am I right? Chinese food is so delicious, but it's got that damn MSG, and then you're hungry again an hour later. At least the American.
Yeah, but so good, worth it.
There's nothing wrong with MSG. That was like a conspiracy. That
Gives
was
you a
like
headache.
Does it?
It's not good, and it's got too much salt. It's got too much salt and gives you a little bit of a headache. It doesn't kill you. It's not lead.
I think it was a conspiracy.
It's definitely making a comeback. I've seen,
It's
I think,
it's
notorious
better than
foodie
lead.
using it.
It's better than lead. It makes your food taste better and then gives you a little bit of a headache. Nothing too bad. Anyways, hopefully nothing long terms happens to these kids. Oh wait, what's that? Pulitzer Prize winning writer Carolyn Fraser just wrote a book titled Murderland that theorized that lead poisoning led to a generation of serial killers.
Oh yeah, dude. Lead poisoning will fuck you up, bro.
Yeah, dude. Check this out. Live comment from Mark with a C. Geldum. Out of 251 students, 233 had elevated blood lead levels, and 201 required. So that's 233 potential future serial killers there.
Yeah, Mark G's right. The New Yorker picked up on this in the past 2 weeks. In the past 2 weeks, like every major publication has been pumping Pulitzer Prize winning writer Carolyn Fraser's book, which focuses on the lead crime hypothesis that has been going on since the early 2010s with experts, and it's picking up mainstream attention again because people like Ted Bundy, Charles Manson, and many other notorious figures lived in and around Tacoma in the 60s, where there was lead found in the water. So
Okay, so they think the lead is causing people to lose their mind and kill people.
That's what they're thinking. Maybe
that's what they're saying. So I wouldn't go to that town in China in 20 years.
You don't want to drink lead. That's just a fact. Right. It's got a lot of bad things with it. So PSA, if you didn't know, don't eat the food that's painted with lead paint or drink lead.
I thought it just made you dumb.
Makes you dumb angry.
Make you really angry.
Say that you eat a lot of paint chips when you're a kid or something,
Maybe
Health
that's
issues. That's where it comes from. Lead
maybe
paint.
they get so angry because of the jokes.
That's why I thought it was only like, hey, if you're a moron, they say hey, you eat a lot of lead paint as a kid, lead paint chips as a kid.
Now they should be saying that from a chain in a basement. Did you eat a lot of lead paint as a kid?
Yeah,
they could be.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
that's a good cut down though. If you do get taken by a serial killer.
Yeah. If you're about to die, just be like, okay, lead poisoning freak.
Lead boy. How much lead did you drink?
Yeah.
Poke the bear.
Yeah. It'll end it quick. You're gonna die anyways.
There you go. All right. Speaking of serial killers, actually, I'm going to talk about a couple of the ones that Mark just mentioned, because there's a weird trend that may or may not actually be happening, according to the New York Post and a bunch of other publications, that serial killer inspired baby names are trending in 2025. Okay. Now, the number one baby name of 2025 is actually Dahmer.
What?
No,
it's not.
No, I'm kidding.
That would be real
That's
bad.
insane.
No chance.
No, apparently there's a website, Baby Center, in the UK, which bills itself as the UK's most trusted source for baby name inspiration. Good. And baby names.
How they get that designation?
Yeah, weird, right?
Yeah.
Baby names.
Yeah,
very self-proclaimed. It's just a list of baby names. Baby names inspired by true crime icons such as con artist Anna Delvey and mass murderer Ted Bundy are on the rise, according to this website, and they're in the top 100 baby names. So, according to this baby naming expert, S.J. Strum, by the way, what a fucking grift that is, huh? Baby naming expert.
Well, also, I don't want to, insinuate anything, but why?
Why would you be a baby naming expert?
Because it's an easy job.
Yeah, you read one chart.
Boy Scout counselor and priest wasn't available because.
Well, this sounds like a nepo job. Like your uncle works in a newspaper, and they were like, you know what? We'll just create the baby naming expert.
Yeah, it's fake
for you. How about?
It's crazy, Mark.
That?
They name the baby at the hospital right when they're born, and then the expert has no need to interact with the baby.
I'm the expert on checking if babies are circumcised or not.
Hey, what's your granddad's name?
Different kind of expert.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, SJ says, quote, these names aren't being chosen because of crime. More often, parents are unconsciously absorbing pop culture. We know that baby names are kind of trend from pop culture. And the names creep into your mind if you're a big fan of true crime series on Netflix, like the Jeffrey Dahmer one, or the Ted Bundy one, Zac Efron playing in the extremely wicked, shockingly evil as Ted Bundy, or the Joe Exotic thing, Tiger King, and Anna Delvey's Inventing Anna. So basically, what she's saying is that
Joe Exotic be? Joe is a
He's not a
possibility.
serial
he's a murderer, maybe, but he's a criminal.
That's loose. I mean,
Sure,
Toss
allegedly. Well, that's what they referenced. Anyway, they say behind the crimes, it offers audiences a new perspective on these misunderstood characters, these misunderstood martyrs. So your parents think to themselves, Anna Delvey was really misunderstood. Maybe we should name our daughter Anna. And really, it's just that they're so into these Netflix dramas and crime series that the names are popping in their heads, and they're not really associating it necessarily with the killer, which is stupid. She also referenced, for instance, Evie is the newest addition to Peppa Pig's family, and that name is now soaring in popularity. Also,
Bluey and Bingo up there because I feel like those would be popular.
Were they talking about the Tigers when they brought Joe Exotic into that
I
group?
don't know.
They must have been, Mark. They must
I
have
don't know.
Included the
Okay,
Tigers.
all right.
I mean, it sounds like complete bullshit, but pop culture does inspire baby names for sure. Here's a list.
It was written by Carol Baskins.
Yeah, that bitch.
Here's a list of names that they claim are on the rise and are inspired by serial killers and criminals. Okay, you
A
got
serial cocksucker.
you got Anna Delvey. You got Arthur, who they claim is inspired by Arthur Lee Allen. This is the Zodiac speaking. He's the suspected Zodiac killer. You got Bella, inspired by wellness scammer Belle Gibson. Okay, she was the one that I think she had cancer and was full of shit. Aaron, Mark, inspired by Aaron Patterson, the mushroom killer.
Oh.
Freddie and Rose, the story of serial killer Freddie and Rose West, featured in Netflix. Fred and Rose West. Joseph.
That was the people that buried the kids in their yard, right?
Yeah. Fuck
The
up.
short people.
Luca from the documentary Don't Fuck with Cats. Teddy, inspired by Ted Bundy. Ruby from the doc Devil in the Family, The Fall of Ruby Frank, an alleged child abuser. Ronnie
Eileen?
and Reggie. And other popular names not listed are John, probably like,
Right.
or Jack after Jack the Ripper, or BTK, or Dennis after BTK, Dennis Rader.
Right.
So it's just all fucking coincidence, basically.
I'm on a lot of playgrounds as Will is.
Carlos.
I'm not gonna put. I'm always amazed when you hear a weird one, but like I could see hearing hey Bundy, or hey
yes,
hey Geen,
Gacy.
come here, Gacy.
No.
Yeah.
Gacy, but here in Chicago, you don't fuck around because John Wayne Gacy lived just down the street in Des Plaines.
Pat, were you named
Yeah.
after Patrick Kearney, the aka the freeway killer who killed 21 people
The drummer
in the 70s?
for the Black Keys? No, I was not.
Okay.
I was not named after the freeway killer
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Yeah,
that I know of.
I agree with you though. If I start hearing names like Dahmer or Raider or
Strangler.
Gacy,
Well, but
Wes, were
even
you
those,
named after Wes Craven?
no, that's my
Raider,
middle name
I
anyway.
could see. I could see Raider as a new agey name.
Yeah, me too. I could see Gacy as a new aging name.
yeah.
Yeah, or Dahmer. even.
Pogo.
Yeah.
Manson?
Manson. I mean, those are good names.
Tiller live comment. And lastly, Adolf. Yeah. I
Well,
don't
that's
know. I mean,
Funny you should mention that, Tiller, because
is
I
that
have
on
a-
the rise?
Well, no, I had a cousin who named her Rottweiler Adolf, but I'm pretty sure it was probably after Adolf Alban, a famous Romanian chess player who died in 1940.
course.
Right. Not Adolf Schickelgruber.
Adolf, that kid's hand.
No, her name. She literally named her fucking dog Adolf. I was like, what the fuck?
Intense choice.
Yeah, you got to explain that to everybody.
What the fuck?
I mean, that's really tough.
Yeah, at the
Yeah.
dog park.
Yeah.
Adolf.
Yeah.
That's a choice, Wes.
Is Dolph Lundgren Adolf?
No.
If he is, smart move, dropping the I. Yeah. Smart move.
Dolph is a cooler name, especially after World War II. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think he's
No.
Polish though.
Hans Lundgren. Okay, sure. Sure,
Up for debate.
Wikipedia.
no one's gonna admit to naming their kid Jeffrey. After
Yeah, up
Jeffrey
for debate.
Dahmer anyway.
They're saying all those first names though took a rise
Yes.
in the charts.
Yes, which
And
makes
so-
sense because it's subconsciously people's minds because they're watching these Netflix
so-
specials with the
yeah,
names. Blah, blah,
maybe.
blah, blah.
Yeah. That makes sense. I could see it being a maybe true.
Sure.
Well, they got their name out there. Those baby naming experts.
Yeah.
Ripper.
Baby center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ripper's
Ripper's a pretty sweet name.
be a good surfer.
Ripper's an awesome
Ripper
name.
is fucking sweet,
You
dude.
think Ripper plays sports? You think he's a
Yeah.
pitcher
He's a surfer.
or a hitter?
Ripper is a stoner and definitely active. Yeah.
Stoner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a
stoner.
skill position guy for sure. He's a shortstop, maybe.
Yeah.
Could be like a punter.
Get him, Ripper. Ripper would be a great linebacker name too.
That's true,
just-
Ripper.
Yeah, defensive football player. That'd be great. All right. Well, any more on the serial killer names?
Nothing at all.
Okay. All right. Well,
We
let's move
did
on.
the shoe bomber, and then I transitioned to serial killing things, and then Wes did serial killers. Do you have any serial killer stuff? Any
do
terrorists? Okay. All right. Well,
Do
sorry.
not. I've got good news
Okay.
to end the show. Just trying to inject some good news here and there, because it's worth talking about. Some cool shit happening in the USA right now. Gonna try and fit it all in to a little
Living on the edge of a lightning bolt, and I do not apologize for that.
lightning round. If you haven't listened to the show, real quick. First up, a fun fact. Did you know that the U.S. Overall prison population has been decreasing since 2009?
Whoa.
Is that true?
Yeah. Overall, it has been decreasing.
What's the stat on that?
Thanks in part to legalizing marijuana in some states, but also mostly just because turns out Gen Z is actually pretty smart and they don't commit as many crimes as previous generations.
It's because they're pussies.
Well, but also smart pussies, because that means that they're not going to jail, which means that the domestic prison population has been steadily dropping since 2000.
You put that chart back up, the first one.
Yeah.
Whoa, Billy Clints.
Well, yeah, I mean, the 3 strikes law was pretty tough.
That's a Joey Bides as well. That's a Senator Joey Bides.
Oh man, tag teamed it.
Yeah, so it peaked in 2009, really took off, as Mark mentioned, in the 90s, and then peaked in 2009, but since has been decreasing, mostly because Gen Z just they've been playing it cool, not getting arrested.
It's hard to get arrested when you're inside playing video games all day.
I like to fuck them and then fuck the women and fuck the men and arrest them.
Oh man, the private prison industry kicked off in '83. Willie, what?
That's also a pretty good correlation, right? Yeah,
the 80s and 90s,
big shoot up.
Yeah,
80s and 90s.
As soon as it became profitable to keep
crack
your
too.
neighbors. Yeah, the crack epidemic.
Thousands were like, might as well keep them in. Might as well.
So, but basically, we're on track to really, really reduce it well below the 2009 peak, which is awesome, right?
I don't know. I'm skeptical with wherever there's money to be made. There'll be people thrown in prison. But
we'll see. I mean, you see them making alligator Alcatraz now.
Right,
so,
private prisons are not going to want to give it up.
No,
there's always some new angle to go with, and you see the one that is going now. But domestic prison population still has been dropping, which is a fun fact because you wouldn't think that with the news that goes on right now. Also, super fun for Mark and Wes. The U.S. government is preparing to breed billions of flies and then dump them out of airplanes over Mexico and southern Texas.
Oh yeah, we covered
to fight a flesh-eating maggot. Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh.
You were trying to board a plane when.
Oh, I was.
Yeah.
Oh, good thing. Yeah. Sorry.
Which
I did
is where they're
going to
drop the
episode,
flies out.
but I forgot. Yeah,
it's okay.
But
good.
It's okay. Good. Okay, good. Everybody knows then. Fantastic. Speaking of Mexico, out to space we go, where a NASA astronaut, Nicole Vapor Ayers, caught what's called a Sprite over Mexico from the International Space Station on July 3rd. You guys see this picture right
here? That's a cool picture. I have no idea what it is, but that's cool.
That's a Sprite.
That's a
and
Sprite.
You can tell it's real. You see the arm of the ISS there. So these things can happen sometimes on the other side of an intense storm cloud, right? So they look extremely badass. So like under that like bright ass lightning cloud is like lightning going down on Mexico, but then on the top side, the Sprite is like this little funnel of like electricity that goes up into space, and it goes from like white to blue to like red, like neon colors. It's badass. Yeah.
That's cool.
Why is there a Jew on top of that Sprite controlling it?
I don't know. That could be part of their space laser system. We're not sure. But it's a natural phenomenon. So
did MTG see that photo?
She didn't say that, Mark, according to her. Look, she's born Nicole Ray Stillwell. So she picked up Vapor.
Yeah. How did she get that one?
Well, let's see. She
loves to vape.
She loves to vape. It could be that. It could be
I just assume she's a huge vapor.
It could be that she loves to vape. It could be that
her
she's
nickname Nicole Vapor Ayers. She's an astronaut for NASA.
It could be that she flies, really big planes like the F-22 Raptor, or it could be that she's a vape god.
Dude, I think she's a vape goddess. Yeah, and I mean, she got this fucking cool. I hope she vaped right.
I think that's her handle. I think Vapor's her handle probably. It's a sick.
you just took a big ripper and then you're looking at that thing out in the ISS.
Sweet pick vapor.
Ripper. You gotta meet my friend Ripper, dude. Vape.
Vapor and ripper.
Vape.
Take down some enemy planes.
Can Ripper crash on your couch?
Yeah, Ripper's always asking other people to ask if he can crash on.
Ripper does not.
Look, man, I need a place to stay, but I'm afraid to ask.
And finally, speaking of giant space lasers, not in space, but back in the USA, and the University of Michigan have officially fired the Zeus laser, hitting 2 petawatts of power within the laser beam itself. That's over 100 times the entire world's power demand inside one laser inside the United States of America, inside the University of Michigan.
Should we have that?
Not only should we have it, Mark, we should make it stronger. Quote, the crystal that we're going to get in the summer will get us up to 3 petawatts. And it took 4.5 years to manufacture, says Frank O'Bear, project manager for the Zeus laser. Quote, the size of the titanium sapphire crystal we have, there's only a few in the world, okay? And it only costs 16 million M.
Okay.
To build with the and it's going to help all kinds of research, right? Medical research, space research, whatever. But it costs way less than the world's most powerful laser in the EU, which costs 300 million euros or $352 million. And a U.S. company actually had to go in and finish that job anyways. In
what's the purpose of it again? What does it do? Will medical? How's it? Why do you need a petawatt?
It's basically like lasers are the new CERN. You can think of it that way.
What if what if it hits you in the eyeball?
This isn't a weapon.
Yeah.
No. Well, you could definitely weaponize it eventually, but for now it's research. But
okay. Like, what if they it came out of the case and like
I'm researching how hard this thing would fucking kill you.
Well,
that's
right. No, that's Mark. Right. That's why they have the titanium sapphires, and the one they're getting in the summer, 3 petawatts. Go wrong.
Right.
Well, no, the first one, when they got to 1 petawatt, actually the whole thing almost blew up, and there was, there was burning everywhere.
So let's go to 4.
But they took it to 2, and 2 worked perfectly because of these titanium sapphires they got, and then now taking it to 3.
To keep adding sapphires.
Exactly. Yeah. More powerful lasers. And actually,
I think this can hold it.
Hey, we're building them at fractions of the cost. Imagine that 16 to 352. What we're doing to get to 3 petabytes versus the EU, what it took them to get to 10.
I want to see it shoot a pig. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I'd love to see that. I would love to see that, dude. I mean, like
fuck a pig up, dude.
You don't want to see what it does to a pig.
Petawatts to destroy a pig.
Get some feral hogs. They need to be population controlled, anyways.
There you go.
So, anyways, some cool shit that was going on, particularly in the science world in the USA recently. And that's the show. Thank you for listening. Remember, go to patreon.com/hardfactor to join our community and let us know just how much you'd be willing to pay to hear us completely uncensored on a Not Safe for Work podcast from our original podcasting days back with PFT. And then we'll see based on those entries if we can talk them into it. No promises, but still join patreon.com/hardfactor. Join our community, get access to bonus pods, Discord chat, much, much more. But most importantly, get out there and have yourselves a great fucking day.
The cream of the crop!